Hey there, and welcome to Reading with Drew. Stupid. Okay, sorry. I had to do it. I had to. Hello there, General Kenobi. Okay. This book is awesome. I have to read another chapter. It was too short. So we're on chapter 13 on Rasquich Mountain. It's probably backwards, but all right, let's do it. Snow was still, falling heavily, making it hard to see more than a few feet beyond where they stood. Drifts were higher, the air colder. The wind howled like a pack of wolves. Where shall we go? Perloo cried to Lucabara over the storm's din. That, Granter Perloo, she replied, is your decision. Well then, he said, I'm going home. He began to hop off. For a few seconds, Lucabara watched him go. Then she leaped after him, grabbed his smock, and spun him around. Perloo, she shouted into his face when they realized you're no longer in the central tribe burrow. The first place to look will be your home. Then I don't know where to go, he cried. Lucabara considered him with scorn. I thought I heard you tell Chef Ferkink you intend to get rid of Berwick and restore our freedoms. Lucabara, Perloo confessed. I only said it to get out of there. Lucabara reached into her smock, pulled out the split proclamation, and offered it to him. You keep this, then, she said in a voice as cold as the air. Lucabara, Perloo cried. I'm no good at this sort of thing. Even if I wanted to go, I don't know how to start. He felt like bursting into tears. Gazing at him, Lucabara softened. There's a burrow up the mountain I know about, near the summit. Friends of mine go there during Hatar to be with Snow. We can go there. Isn't that near Felbart territory? In that general direction, yes. But don't worry, Felbarts are cowards. They would never come out in a storm like this. If they do, throw one of your snowballs at them. Your aim is good. That should be enough. Hoo-hoo, Perloo gazed uneasily into the storm. Do you really think you can find that burrow? We have to. I can't think of any other place. The notion of hiding appealed to Perloo. Besides, Lucabara was right. His burrow would be searched. As for going to friends' burrows, he had no right to jeopardize them. What would I do there? He asked. Besides hide, you could plan a rebellion against Berwick. Lucabara, I hate all this. She snorted. Remember what Mogwart said. Only the dead have no choices. Perloo's nose turned red. You're sure you can find it? Yes. At least no animals will be out and about, he thought out loud. Fine, I'll go, but I'm not promising anything anymore. Stay close, she warned. It's easy to get separated in a storm like this. Lucabara, I'm not a cub, Perloo cried. Lucabara spun about. Perloo, when Jolene told me she picked you to be Granner, I had my doubts. Now that I know you, they've only increased. With that, she turned on her heels and began to hop through the snow. Perloo, suppressing a desire to heave a snowball at her, gave a weary sigh instead and followed. In the best of weather, Rasquich Mountain was not an easy climb. Perloo, plump and out of shape, would go 20 hops, then have to stop to catch his breath. As he paused, Lucabara moved out of sight. She did not even look back to make sure he was following. Perloo understood. She was making it clear that what he did was to be his choice and his alone. So again and again he stumbled forward, trying to catch up to the gray blob that was Lucabara. The snow, blown in great cutting whirls by an unceasing wind, continued to fall. The higher they went, the colder it became. From time to time, though they were always moving upward, there were brief dips in the land. Then at least they could ski down. but often they slipped and fell, then struggled to right themselves. The cold grew more intense, piercing, biting cold. So cold, Perlou thought the air itself might freeze. The snow became jagged bits of ice that wiggled like frigid worms into every nook and crevice of their smocks. His whiskers froze as sharp as needles. Bucking directly into the bite of the storm, Perlou continued to hop upward, ears pulled back, head down. He had no real way of knowing where he was going. He had lost track of time when all but sleepwalking. He banged into Lucabara. There, she announced. I think we're here. Amidst the swirling snow, Perlou was just able to see what appeared to be a mound of snow, a smoke pipe without smoke stuck up. Excited by the thought of getting out of the storm and into some warmth, they searched for the burrow door by brushing away the snow from the top of the burrow with their paws. When Lucabara finally uncovered it, she scratched about for the handle, finding it quickly enough. When she pulled, however, it would not give. Lend a paw, she cried. The two of them pulled and pulled again. It would not give. Stop, Lucabara called. What is it? Perlou asked. It must be locked, she said, turning a despairing gaze upon him. Or frozen. Perlou stared at her. Then we'd better go back down. He cried over the roaring wind. We can't stay here. Perlou, Lucabara shouted back to make herself heard. There's nothing safe down there. Berwig will have his warriors searching for you everywhere. It was Fergink who let us escape. Next time we won't be so lucky. We have to go on. Where? Any place, she said wearily, and you'll have to lead. Me? Perlou cried. I'm exhausted, she said. Breaking snow is hard. Perlou looked about. The snow was like a white tornado. Wind streaked to such a pitch his ears ached. Tall trees moaned and creaked. Every intake of air was like the swallowing of a sharp stick. This is awful, he said through his frozen whiskers. Without any idea of which way to go, he started off. Sometimes he took them uphill. Other times he hopped along what he thought were ridges. For all he knew, they might have been hollows. It was impossible to know. From time to time, they were able to escape the wind by ducking behind some great rock or what they believed was a rock, or squatting down in a depression. Though momentarily out of the wind, the cold remained extreme, and the snow kept pouring from the sky like milk from a pot. Even so, they continued on. The sun began to fade. The two wandering monomers felt an increasing numbness at the tips of their ears. Paws and toes began to tingle. It was the first sign of frostbite. Though the frigid dusk, Perlou saw what looked like a cluster of trees. Thinking that they might be somewhat better protected from the storm in such a place, he shouted, Let's go that way. Do you see something? Lucabara called back. Trees, maybe. She gave a nod. They pushed on. Slow work, excruciating work. Again and again, Perlou lost sight of the trees. At times, they vanished altogether. More than once, Perlou felt compelled to look back over his shoulder to make sure Lucabara was following. It was while looking back that Perlou tripped, fell, and tumbled into darkness. Lucabara, come on! You're way too into this book. But that's what it's about, right? That's what books are about. That's what makes them fun. Okay, so the storm. Just trying to get out of the storm. They don't know where to go, which I think is cool. Story aspect, writing wise, you know, they don't know, they're on the fly. They're trying to figure it out on the fly. So it makes sense that they wouldn't know. And Lucabara's trying to figure it out. But I think that somewhere soon they're going to run into the Felbards, and then that's going to open up another door of their culture. And I bet Perloo will know some history about them that he can bring up and kind of unite the both tribes. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just taking a guess since he's such a historian. I know my history. I read lots of books. My name is Perloo, and I read lots of books. I just want to be in my hobbit hole and read books all day. I don't want to be the granter. Anyway, that was fun. Reading with Drew, chapter 13. Rasquich Mountain. Wherever you say it, it's like got a Q in it. But on the next one, chapter 14, is a discovery. So I'm going to take a wild guess and say that they discover something. Not like trying to point out the obvious or anything, but all right. Thank you for attending this video recording of Reading with Drew. And have a gorgeous day on this Tuesday. Ta-ta.